Looks like we are good to go. Everything is holding steady. I never did convince Stream Elements to say that the chat was actually online, but things still seem to be working. So, hello, fellow Sublime Text fanatics. Welcome to the live stream for Devember day. I can't remember 10th, Devember day 10th. That is right. We are going to continue working once I take this bracelet off so it doesn't scratch on the desk while we're talking on YouTuberizer tonight. And I have a couple of ideas for things that I'd like to do, but of course, anything that might happen in the chat can swerve the whims of the development in the stream in a nutshell there. And hello, Ben. Welcome to the stream. What we're going to be working on today is something I was kind of fiddling with yesterday at the end of my time, and I really should have just left it until today because, remarkably, despite the fact that all I really do is record a little devlog and then ship it to the other computer and do a little bit of audio sweetening and uploading it, the whole process takes a fair amount of waiting time. Anyway, not a lot of work, but a lot of waiting time. If I had stopped the stream or stopped doing what I was doing and left it for the stream, I could have went to bed a little bit earlier last night. But in any case, we are going to continue on with that, which is I was sort of playing with the ideas of being able to search videos for things other than their titles and inside of the quick panel there. And one of the things that videos tend to have is tags. So I played with that a little bit in a duplicated command that isn't necessarily the greatest way to do it because it's doing something. It's an identical duplicate of a command that does something slightly different. So we should really modify things up a little bit. But enough of the rambling there. Things continue to be in the green everywhere we look. So I'm assuming it's totally kosher to just go ahead and push the button. And hello again, fellow Sublime Text fanatics, for people that happen to jump into the stream at the time code that I generally post in the comments at the end so that you don't have to watch the cool animated intro and stuff, which is actually animated now. The text moves and everything. I've also been working on a couple of other little things in here. Still very much works in progress. I am a developer. If you're a member of the Sublime Text Discord, you might have noticed earlier today in the off-topic chat we were talking about various projects, and I at one point back in 2015 created a game called RX. which is entirely a knockoff of Dr. Mario, entirely in TypeScript in the browser using programmer art. Fortunately for me, that was kind of easy to pull off because if you're familiar with Dr. Mario, the monsters are little circular kinds of things. The other parts of the game are capsules that are, very much, say, for example, a square and a circle stuck together. Canvas rendering made that a little bit easier, but it's very much programmer art, and that's really the extent of my skills for the most part. But eventually, I hope to have the stream going, better than it has in the past, in as much as having extra stuff and little bells and whistles. And Yeah, I got a couple of things that I'm playing with that we'll hopefully get a chance to fiddle with tonight. Is the plan. To get you abreast of what happened between the last live stream and this one, I believe the command is now this: find by tag. This is actually just a complete duplicate of the other command that we were working with the other day. But this time, when we fetch the thing, we get a list of tags in here instead of video titles. Ben says that intro is way louder than you are. Yeah, does my voice sound loud enough, or does it sound like is it a good enough volume level for hearing? Because I've been thinking I need to turn down the transition, but there's no button for that in OBS, and I keep forgetting. But I can totally, theoretically, maybe not. Maybe that is actually dimed out already where it's currently sitting. This is the headset, right? Yeah. This is as loud as this gets. I should probably play with the normalizer a little bit and the compressor to see if I can tweak stuff up a little bit. That's also on the list of things to do besides little graphical gewgaws and whatnot. If you're in the I really want to get VSTs working under OBS in Linux, because then I could even use some EQ sweetening to make the headset sound a little bit better than it does, because this is a gamer headset, so it's more focused on noise cancellation than faithful reproductions of things. But it turns out that that particular plugin tends to segfault OBS, and I don't know why. And I tried to, even newer builds no longer compile for weirdly esoteric reasons. Got the volume higher than usual, huh? I will look into getting that tweaked. I wonder if there's a setting over here. I will definitely look into that. Thanks for letting me know. The mixer here tends to think that it's completely maxed out as high as it can go. I wonder if there's an overdrive on this bad boy. Let's just fiddle around with properties in the middle. But not that one. That's not the sort of property that's going to be helpful for anyone. Can this go higher? Ooh, I can take it. I can take it above. How about now? That's going into the red. 3 decibels may or may not be the good level for that if I was to talk in my monotone voice and then get excited because I actually did something and it worked. Woohoo! I can't. It seems like it may potentially have peaked there for a second, but the meter's not decaying in a pleasing way. So let me know if I just blew your eardrums out, if you happen to, if I knocked you out and you have to wake yourself up there if it seems like it's a little too loud now. The logarithmic nature of decibels always, noodles with my brain. Or the fact that the volume knob only takes it up to 0, but you can actually take it higher than that apparently. Whoop. Audio normalization is one of those, as someone that's a guitar player and a nascent musician, albeit a bad one, you'd think I'd be a little bit better at sound engineering than I actually am. In any case, so yeah, we have the ability to do this, and I embarrassingly discovered that I have a incorrect tag in there, so I'm gonna fix that. If I copy that, oh, and this is another thing that happened too, but we'll worry about that in just a second. I gotta fix that because I forgot to do it the other day. I'm gonna click this button over here and click a button here, and we should be good to go. Oh, that is bright, man. Where are you, my little friend? 1,000 subscriber special. Yeah. And then we go ahead and save that change. Beauty. Okay. I'm going to reload this. There's actually two exciting things that happened yesterday, if you will. One of them, the latter of the two, was this. We can actually get this to not blind us by closing that tab, and then browse by tag. Whoops. Oh, shoot. So this is what it does is it fetches all the videos like it did previously, only now it grabs. Really, that doesn't make a change? Huh, that's interesting because the meter is totally pegging off into the red end while I'm talking. Hmm, I'm not proud. I can click a button again. I'll take it up 6 decibels. That's a logarithmic thing, so that's got to be ridiculously louder, right? Does it sound louder now? Delay, delay, delay. I had a heck of a time getting the stream to actually, or YouTube to actually notice that I kicked the stream up. But we can continue to poke with that whole operation. Yay! Cool. The next thing is, whoa, the whole bar goes red. I may have gotten a little bit too loud there. I also need to, the introduction needs to have its volume ducked a little bit because it's too loud even in my monitor here. But well, maybe it's just an instantaneous peak. That could be something. When I have audio in the actual scene when it plays, there's a volume knob for it in the audio mixer, but because I have the introduction set as a transition so that it can go between the scenes, you're not allowed to tweak the audio in this version of OBS. It does work in the one that crashes 9 ways from Sunday, so that's a little bit of an unfortunate thing. But yeah, I've been sort of waiting on hopefully getting that working so that I can get audio a little bit nicer. So that's going to be the next thing. I may have to give up on the dream of EQing and just work on volume leveling and boosting and such. So this is a list of all the tags that are unique across all of the videos, and there's probably a lot of these. You can see how many actual videos I tagged with this, exactly 2. Because it occurred to me that people were starting to watch these sorts of things. And then the command does what it would normally do. The other thing that changed yesterday, the thing that I did first was this. If you choose a video that has a table of contents defined inside of it, you get a list of the table of contents items so that you can immediately grab a link to a specific part instead of the whole video. And it's not enforced yet, but as per YouTube's item is it's supposed to, there has to be at least 3 items in the table of contents. They have to be more than 10 seconds long, and the first one has to be labeled as 0, which is something I'm not enforcing, but it's something that I do. So by and large, that should still work. This one actually really ducks out there. Oh, and Ben says, I've been trying to get VL for Linux 2 output working with OBS on occasion. This actually works a lot better than I expected it to, honestly. The whole, webcam and everything. Even I've mentioned in a previous stream, I got this teeny tiny HDMI thing for basically shipping. The whole thing cost $20 US, and I had a $20 Amazon gift card thing. So it it works astoundingly well on its own for like a $20 thing. It can capture 1080p at like 30 frames a second with audio, really good color fidelity, and I can just plug it into the side of the monitor and use that to shoot extra stuff in. I do have the extra camera that I use to create videos, but the length of cable that I have isn't particularly long, so there's not a lot of exciting stuff that can be happening there. And now, unless you wanted to see a side-on view of the side of my head while I'm coding instead of the front. One of the other things I'm working on a solution for is not having the camera attached to the monitor because the larger a monitor is, the more wibble wobbly it gets. And I've noticed that if I happen to be touching the desk, it goes all crunky. Oh, OBS acting like a camera. Yes, that is supposed to be a thing that works, isn't it? That I have not tried. Although I did go down a funky rabbit hole one time trying to get Jack working so that I could route audio a different way, and then the whole thing scared me and I backed away slowly. But yeah, I think this version of OBS doesn't do that. That's the next version, which I had this weird situation. This is 25.0.8. When 26 came out, I compiled my own version and it worked. It didn't crash. It did what I wanted it to do. It had the nice little dock and everything, which was cool. It has its own built-in browser source component. I have one that I, managed to build myself to be able to do that sort of thing. The reason why the native browser source hasn't been included in the Linux version of OBS is because CEF uses, or Chromium, I guess, uses like Qt dialogues or GTK dialogues, and OBS uses the opposite of those two. And they have contention and do stupid stuff and cause crashes and what for if something that's in a plugin uses a file open dialog and then it tries to pop its own dialog box up. So I was noticing that crashing a bit. So I set it aside for a bit, and then I waited for 26.0.1 to come out, and I couldn't compile it anymore because there's a symbol in it that the linker decides can't be relocated or included in a shared object, which is unfortunate because it's part of a library. And then I tried to go back to the other version and thought maybe I just won't play with dialogues, but now that version wouldn't compile either, even though it was the exact same commit. I eventually resolved that problem, but now it just seg faults on startup. So I'm going to let that one mellow a little bit more. But that has some extra features like volume control and the camera thing you mentioned there, which would indeed be cool. I would really like to be able to join Zoom meetings from my Linux desktop instead of my Windows one. Then I can do more interesting stuff. So, um, the what I'm thinking is, I like the idea of being able to choose a tag, and then we can see what videos that are here. But there's something missing here. There needs to be an extra option in here that takes you back to tags. Pardon me. So that you can go again, if you will, if you pick the wrong one. And part of the reason for this, as I mentioned in the tail end of the last stream, is because videos need to have titles. Hello, Ashwin. Uh, Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good morning, night. I can't do time zones. I really can't. I mean, well, nah. I had to join an ungodly early meeting this morning because one of the participants was in the UK. So Uh, yeah. I mean, I know I'm 8 hours behind them, but when you have a meeting time that has to be scheduled between someone in Vancouver, someone in Boston, and someone in the UK, no matter how you slice it, one of the three people is going to be real unhappy about this turn of events. Um, so, yeah, as I was saying, video titles, according to YouTube, really should be something that draws the eye, along with the thumbnail, because a lot of the traffic that you get comes from the algorithm in YouTube surfacing videos for you to see on the front page based on your likes and things you've watched before. And if there's someone out there that watches a lot of my videos and also watches something that's similar to something you watch, then the algorithm surfaces my videos for that person to say other people that like what you like also want to watch this. So you want to have a title that draws people in, which is great for traffic, not so great for trying to find a reference and remembering which video was what. So the two things I'm going to try to do there, one of them is this thing, being able to pick a tag out of the list of all available tags to be able to determine which videos are what, which will also help me fix my tags because they were pretty crappy for a long while. But also to be able to say, I don't remember exactly the title, but I know I probably used a tag that would make it easier to find because that's supposed to be the purpose of the thing. The other thing is to try to search the description, but that one seems a little bit more fraught, if you will, from the purposes of picking something in a list, because you have to, I think, enter a preform bit of text and then have it search and populate stuff. Something else that I'd like to play with here, Ashwin says, morning here, can understand the pain between two portions of the same team sitting in opposite time zones. Yeah, I've endured this for mm, 20 years on a smaller scale because our head office is in Ontario, which is 3 hours ahead of us. So we consistently get people booking meetings at 6 o'clock in the morning or at lunchtime. And hardly ever does a meeting actually line up in a nice fashion. But and EST and Boston are in the same, or sorry, Boston is in that same time zone. I might be a little bit further east, but it still has the same time. But yeah, adding the UK into the mix is an extra unfortunate bit of news. Um, the other thing, Ashwin, I know you probably watched the devlog, but the other thing that I implemented besides grabbing tags is this. If you choose a video and it has a table of contents, it allows you to choose one of the items in here. And I was shocked that there's roughly 7.5 quadrillion Unicode characters for everything under the rainbow, but I was unable to find a satisfying emoji character that looks like a tag, or I guess there are clock ones, but my font doesn't support them, so I'm not choosing a character that just ends up being invisible. So I ended up with a little pencil here just to have a little something to display. But the first thing that I'd like to do is, first of all, fix this. As I mentioned in the dev stream or in the devlog yesterday, one of the things you do in Devember is always make the code that you wrote publicly available. So basically the stuff that I did was this bit right here, right? When it gathers the list of contents for things, it gets the list of unique tags that there are, and every video that shares that tag gets added in, and then it allows you to pick the tag before it calls select video with the constrained list of things. And in order to test that, I just duplicated one of the existing commands and plunked it in here. And I checked that into a branch and not into the main thing because it's supposed to be shared, but I didn't want to add it this way and I didn't want to stay up super late. But we do want to do more work on this. We want this so that this is the list of this. When you choose one of the items in here and this pops up, there needs to be an extra item in this with a dot dot go back type operation that lets you jump back to the list of tags so you can choose a different tag if you happen to pick the wrong one. That's actually cool. You're really setting records managing YouTube more Sublime using Sublime. Yeah, I know, right? As say it there must be a reason why the YouTube's native thing in the web page. I mean, it's powerful in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways it seems to really be lacking, and it weirdly really suffers from that whole what I call like the web 2.0 problem where you don't want the page to reload. You want to make a request in the background to fresh things in, which is now just web, but I'm a old enough fuddy-duddy that I remember when that's not the way the internet used to work. But back then it seemed to there it would really like drag and be slow, and now I have, because I work from home, a business class internet connection where I can download like a 4 megabyte file in a quarter of a second. But somehow, when I click to go to the second page of my videos, it takes a good 20 seconds before the page refreshes. It takes less time for me to gather the complete information for every video on my channel every time I trigger this command after a plugin load. So it does indeed make things a lot more sublime. Does this not work for tags? Oh, hang on, I got a hair on my mouse. Let's see what happens if I cut. Oh, that's it. Boop, boop, boop. Let's paste it over here. In this particular font, no. So part of the problem might be that, but it also seemed like there's, that's what it was, right? Yeah. There's maybe some subset that's more common in as a glyph set in fonts than others, but I didn't even see that one in the list that I was looking in, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I still have that thing open, do I? No, I don't. Uh, yeah, but this does remind me that, boop, I forgot to turn the volume on my phone off. Pardon me. Ashwin's making a comment about the first line of something. I'm going to mute that. I keep my phone handy because at any given moment, Google might decide that I need to have help logging into my own account. If I click this, do those glyphs become invisible? No, cool. Right on, right on. I guess I could probably just have added it into the actual browser there, huh? Is there something named? No, there's not, is there? Oh, those can go away too. Maybe color ones may have an issue. Oh, can I not copy and paste that? No, I don't want all of them. I just want that, man. Stop making my life so terrible. What we're looking for here is something to include in the panel that we're about to create. I should bookmark this thing because this is a better list than the one that I was using before. Navigation arrows. There was a issue that you commented on or in GitHub about not being able to move the first line of a file down, which I'm pretty sure somebody reported it as not being able to. I may be conflating here. Somebody earlier today made an issue about not being able to unfold a file if you fold it up if it's got certain indented content in it, and that was a duplicate of something that had already been noticed. And then you made a comment on here. I have my phone here. I could look and see. On the first line cannot be unfolded. You said can reproduce on Windows as well. And then yeah, you pointed out that it's probably a duplicate. One of the funky things about that is when it happens, it also screws up the line numbering as well. Yeah, I accept that my cookies are my lot in life. How did I not find this before? Sets. What's in here? One of the things I was looking for was a clock. Yeah, emoji is probably not the thing you want for that, right? You probably want something like yeah. Arrows, quotes, hearts, stars, fancy letters, math symbols, symbols for nickname, punctuation, symbols for Steam. That's needlessly esoteric. Yeah, there was something that was a clock that I wanted to put for the timestamp thing, but that was not something that actually worked. That arrow actually does work, but maybe we want something a little more fat. I'm going to assume that that's not necessarily going to do what we want. A browsable Unicode list, you say? Oh, come on, man. Oh, can I just do this? No. Maybe I should stop trying to do that so hard. That one's a little bit fatter. That's not too shabby. And I'm basically thinking of, well, this one has an arrow that looks like yaw, or what you might see in a file dialog to say that you're going to go up a level. Heretofore unknown levels of power. I guess that would be something like this, right? If we wanted to duplicate what that's doing. I mean, I could just sit here forever looking at Unicode symbols, but yeah, this is all just going to be arrows, right? Yeah. We'll sort of leave that for what it is. So because this command, this find by tag command, is actually just the copy link command, we're going to discard this whole branch and instead modify select video here. Size this down a little bit. because what this is doing is this. Uh, Select the video, gets the list of all the videos, sorts them, and then displays them. This could easily, there could be a select tag in here that you call before select video to get it to do the exact same thing. Um, so that is my thought for this. And then after we get something going in here, delete this branch, cherry pick it into the other thing, and either make a new command or just include it in that one. Um, well, first I want to get the functionality going, I should say. But I don't like the way that find by tag here and the other command are literally practically identical except for what they choose to do with the playlist content. So I think there should be a base class that those two things extend so that they can just swap the one thing and otherwise be good. But first steps first. So we're going to play with this in this command first. Yes. And then get it over into this and then go. You got me thinking about a browsable Unicode list now and all of that particular informations. I wonder how common various symbols are. Is that one of those situations where there's one font in the system as a fallback font for characters like that? As I presume not every font designer needs to or wants to implement every possible Unicode glyph. I am woefully ignorant in the ways of text rendering. I'm going to, no, we'll leave that alone. Trying to think of the best way to pull this off. So we call playlist content, just getting the list of all the unique tags sorted by this. And the thought occurs that this could be a set. And Ben says that's his understanding. Yeah, okay. So that's good. I mean, some of these things didn't work for me, and I was totally willing to believe that that's just because, my font setup is crunky. More or less, I tend to leave that sort of thing alone because anytime I try to choose a better font than what the distro or whatever has chosen, things end up looking a lot worse because I'm not good at making the pretty. The only thing I really change is the fonts for things in like say in Sublime, and of course this cool glow action. Let's work at this in stages because I'm curious about something. Keys in dictionaries have to be hashable, right? So dictionary objects themselves aren't directly available to be used as keys. I'm guessing because I created a class specifically so that I could. But apart from that, basically my thought is this is coming up with a dictionary where the keys are tags and the value is an array of all of the videos that have that tag. And I don't think it's possible, technically possible for one video to have the same tag twice, I guess. In which case, instead of making this an array, I could make it a set to stop that from happening. But because tags are one of those resources where there's a finite amount of space, uh, Ben says there's 140,000 unique characters. I was only off by a couple of billion, but yeah, the mind boggles, scrolling through pages, and I was seeing more squares than not. I'm assuming that a lot of those are devoted perhaps to languages I do not speak. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think we need to worry about one video having the same tag listed in it twice, in which case it would show up in the list twice, and presumably I would notice that I was being a moron. Sometimes there's a fine line between adding code, pardon me, to solve a problem and, you know, deciding that a problem is so inconceivably small, it's not going to hurt anything. You know, you could while your whole life away trying to make things bulletproof. Pick tag gets called when you choose browse a tag. That's going to provide this. It calls select video. That's an unfortunate turn of events. I think this is my plan. I planned it just now. Actually, I've been thinking about it for a bit. I took that a little bit too far down, didn't I? Yep. Select video is the thing you call with an array of one or more video dictionaries that has all of the information. And you tell it a placeholder if you care, and a callback that it can tell you this is the video that someone picked or nobody picked anything. We don't care. We want to have the ability to do tags as well. So I think there should be a def select tag where you provide it a list of all videos, and then it will do what this is doing and provide a list and give you a callback to be able to say, here's the list of tags that match. And then you could use that here. That's one way to go. Alternatively, we could add a flag to this for pick by tag. You set it to false, it does this. You set it to true, it does this first. And then does this with the list after it's done. The idea there being that select video needs to have one optional item in it that is the up arrow to tell you to go back. But we could also say include back here and just have it add one extra item to the top of the video list that it's using. And its callback value could be a sentinel that allows that thing to know. I don't know what that sentinel value would actually be, mind you, because we set this callback up to be the actual video object itself. So we kind of lost the ability to use none because none indicates that you didn't have any, right? So we could make the callback provide an index, but the reason we didn't do that is because this is a sorted list of things. And if this is sorted, then you need to know what the index was in the unsorted list, and that seems like more trouble than it's worth for something as simple as this. You know, we're trying to choose a video so that I can post a link or edit its metadata. We're not trying to land a man on the mood to gather samples. The other thing, of course, that it could, if it was all internal in here, then it could just use the fact that it knows what the index is to know that something specific happened. Or the callback takes two arguments. What seems like the cleaner way to pull something like this off? Because I really, for reusability purposes, like the idea of having two separate methods, select tag and select video. So maybe just sort of spitballing what stuff might actually look like here. If there was a select tag and a list of videos and a callback to be told what tag, twofer, and then a placeholder for displaying the thing. And then we could say videos equals, tags equals get tag list, the thing that we're doing in the other part to get the whole list of tags. And then show quick panel on the list of tags. And the second item is a lambda with an I, which does the fanciness of here. None if I is equal to -1 else stuff. I guess it has to return a tuple. No, it's 2 arguments, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The tuples unpack? Well, we'll worry about that in a second. The idea here being that the callback is going to get 2 things. It's going to get the actual tag selected, and it'll also get a filtered list of videos that match that, and it'll be invoked back. So someone that calls this would call select tag with their whole list of videos, and their callback would tell them the user picked this tag, and here's the list of items that are in that, or the list of things that are in that. In response to that, it has the list of videos that match the tag. It can call select video. And then here we have, this is where things kind of fall down a little bit. We probably put it here. Maybe we call it show back. Defaults to false. If it's true, the list of items that are displayed here, which is going to be unfortunately sorted an extra way, but there's only so much we can do about that, is there's 1 extra item that's displayed in the quick panel, and then the callback has to handle that. Ashwin says another feature for the project would be to show the comments on the video in a separate view. Indeed, I had that thought as well, and this pane over here is for the thumbnail, and it's an HTML sheet that I used to stick that in there so that it keeps the same background. Otherwise, I can't remember. Well, I can't remember why I did that. It might have been because sheets were new. But it doesn't generally take up the whole of the screen real estate, even on my laptop. So the idea occurred that there could be room for other information in here, like another panel that has the view count and the likes and the dislikes and some of that other information just visible here, because the idea being, if you're looking at this, not everything would be editable, but you can see the title, you can see the description, you can see the tags, you can tweak them all up, you can see the thumbnail. Because this is an HTML sheet, it could be an image that you could actually click on, which means it could, in theory, trigger the file browser thing to rewrite the page to change the upload of the thumbnail, which is probably why I thought that's something that I wanted to do in the first place. But I do also like the idea, maybe not in this screen, but just having a screen in general. It was the idea to have something comment browsing related. I don't know exactly what form that would take, but that was one of the things, because managing comments in the YouTube editor is also not that great. One of the things it has that's very useful is a filter for comments that you haven't responded to, because you want to build a community and respond to everything. And I think also because YouTube is notoriously bad about delivering notifications that there's comments. So if anybody's watching the live stream now, or the playback, and wondering why you said something 3 days ago and I never said anything, it's because sometimes YouTube doesn't actually tell me that somebody made a comment. And unless I happen to go to that part of the page, I can't even really tell that anything happened. But there's some things that don't need to be responded to and don't need to be in that list. For example, my own comments on these live streams when I go back afterwards and say what the time code is. So I want to be able to display comments so that I can make that filtering a little bit smarter too. But keep those good ideas coming, because I don't think I would have thought of the idea of including the extra information in here if you hadn't provided the thing for that. It might have occurred, but my focus was definitely elsewhere in that regard. This is kind of what we want to have happening. I think the first thing, the real showstopper to this whole idea is what we do with, what's this? Oh yeah, I forgot. It tells me that I'm live while I'm already live, in case I didn't notice that it was happening. Thanks. Oh, I was also going to check this thing here. Boop. Um, the callback on this needs to be smart enough to be able to return a video for the one picked, none if none wasn't picked, none if nothing was picked. So I think none if none was picked, or a sentinel that means go back. I'm not entirely sure what the best. The only thing that comes to mind, well, two things come to mind. One is making the callback take two arguments so that it could provide the index and the video, although the index wouldn't really be helpful, except that you could check if it was -1 or not, in which case it could be a Boolean for chose or not chose. And if it said you chose and the video was none, then you know that the person went back, but otherwise it wouldn't be none, and you know that they were picked. Or the first item is a special video with an ID that means go back to the previous thing as a sentinel. That's the easier way to do it. It kind of makes this part nicer in the general sense, but how gross is that to make a fake video entry with an ID that can't possibly exist? You know, like it's too short or something. You know. Let's move this the other way over to here because we're going to be working on it. Boop. And that way things will look a little bit nicer. I'm assuming that that will load. As long as we don't call it, we're going to be okay, right? So one of the things we're going to need is a new one of these. When in the quick panel, this kind is used to signify the special item indicates that we want to go back up a level in the hierarchy. Did I spell that right? Go me. So we'd call that one kind back. Probably could have just copied one of these things, right? But we want to swap that for, oh shoot, that. That would be there. Was it this file that I was posting those little funky things in? No, it was this thing over here, wasn't it? Or did I clobber them out of there entirely? I probably did. The fattest looking up arrow. I'm sure I'll find that later when I go to check this in and find a comment in a place or something. Oh, I should probably be looking at up arrows if I'm interested in that sort of thing. Which one of these is best for that? Those ones look like carrots. I kind of like the idea of one that looks more arrowish. Equilateral arrowhead. Ooh, and that's an upwards arrow. I think I picked that one was a little bit fatter than the other ones and longer, so we'll pick that. Or alternatively, that's not the one because it doesn't seem to display all that well. Yeah, that was probably not the thing then. And this just is, yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Wait, are these not the, oh, is this the one I just clicked? Yes, yes, it is. This one then. All right, now none of them are going to work. Am I hallucinating that this totally worked for me at the beginning of the, here, we'll pick you. You'll do. Yeah, okay, so just as a test, we would say something like, if show back, then oh, this is a case where if I was using LSP, I wouldn't have to do this. Is that not what it's called? Array. I always, oh, every time. Index, then value. Right on. A quick panel item of go back. That part needs to be empty because the other part is easy. Oh, actually, this would be, I like that to be dot dot because that's the magic of that operation. And this would be like so. And oh yeah, we need the kind back on that one too. So that works. We did find by tag. Let's say when we call select video, is it this, oops, the second item that we chose here? After callback. So this could be true. Tag her up. The nice thing about that spinner down there is if it stops and nothing pops up, then I know something horrible has occurred. Okay, that definitely works. Red is probably not the color to use for that, though. That seems a little out there. So if we were to do, incidentally, Ashton, what do you think of the voice volume level at the moment? A little bit louder than usual. Is it more audible? Super audible? Am I clipping at all? If I'm to believe the meter that's happening over here, I'm clipping all over the show because the whole bar turns red when it happens. But thus far, Ben said it's not, doesn't seem to be clipping on his end. So this might be a little bit of an overzealous instantaneous read meter. We did a little search for the kind container. Namespace. Namespace is the one that I think we might want here. Blue seems like a nice color. The other question is, should this pop up with the selection having the first item selected or that one selected? I like the idea of it being at the top, not only because there's not any extra code related to having to do that, but also it's native for you to look at it and say, these aren't the right ones, and then pick it. And oh, you know, that actually copied something. I guess it would, wouldn't it? Okay. Here's the part where we start running into some issues here. First of all, we can inject that up. Pick I, and then we could say if I is equal to -1. Say we do that. Oh, sorry. Return callback none. Otherwise, -1 always means that the panel closed no matter what, right? So that's something that we want to have there. Otherwise, this is the part where things get kind of sketchy. Ideally, the idea here is if I is 0 and show back, then the user actually picked the back thing, right? So you'd return callback and maybe this, because ID is the value that's used for an actual video ID. This is one of those cases where using GoToAnything allows you to very quickly peek at a thing. You could say, I want to go into the details look down here and say, in select video, yeah, video ID is what's being used as the video ID, so that's what I want. And then hit escape and you're back to where you were. In the preview, you don't have to have the file open. And also, I think as we mentioned, you can stick lines on here as well when you do that. You choose the adaptive at line 12 and jump to it directly. I'm still trying to recreate that weird issue that I had, but I've been unable to do so. And callback videos I. So in theory, this is kind of doing the right stuff, right? Actually, we don't even need that to be a lambda, do it? We could just say pick. And then join that up. That's not too long. So this is the general gist of what we want to pull off here. This definitely needs to be its own case, right? Because -1 definitely just means nothing. This is the part where we could probably say return callback videos I. Sorry. ID back. It would be that if I equals 0 and show back else videos I. That's the more succinct way to write that, right? Which is something that I don't think is necessarily a good fit for the lambda that I had previously, because there's an extra case in here. Also, this one doesn't need to be a return because it's at the bottom. Invoke the callback with the fake object if I is 0 and show back was specified, because that means they chose back. Otherwise, I is 1 or something else. Ooh. This is still not right. Because if show back is set and this is actually a value, then the index in the actual video array is 1 higher than it normally would be, because 0 is the special one. How did I do this in a clean way and override audit? Because this is a special class I created for being able to do this thing. You say create override, shows you the list of all the packages, and you pick one. Then it shows you the list of all the resources, or you can go back up one, choose a different one. This is basically what we're trying to implement here. There could also be folders inside of one of these things. So if you chose, say, Python, then you could go into snippets, and then you could say, oh, this isn't where I want to be. Go back up, choose something else, go back up again to here. Hang on a second. Docker Desktop is being a gigantic jerkhole. Remind me later. When I say later, I don't mean 15 minutes from now. Docker Desktop. So that's the thing we're trying to do here. And there's 3 layers to this. You can browse for packages, and then it just asks you for a package, and you can browse resources if you want to ask to choose from a list of resources in a package. Or I suppose I could probably do this. There's a package browser, there's a resource browser, and then there's a package resource browser that asks you first one and then the other. But in any case, this of course is available on GitHub as well if you're interested in digging into this code. But here we go. This one has a stack of things that it navigates through. This one's slightly more complicated because it could go into folders inside of resources, and it displays them that way instead of the way view package file has them all exploded out. So it needs to know what was visible at the level that it was at before it got into the current level, so it needs to have a stack for those sorts of things. Doesn't look like I did anything too special there, huh? Well, I guess I very specifically had, if this is the same as the thing that I just had, if the index is 0 and the length of the stack is greater than 0, then that means that you chose something to go back. So it just grabs the other list of items and calls itself to go back and do the thing, which is exactly what I had in this before. Special handling for this, right? Basically this should say, if not, show back this, otherwise something here. This is the sort of thing that, I kind of get analysis paralysis on sometimes. I suppose an increased volume level makes it easier to tell that I'm drinking coffee. Just the writing something that works is one thing, but then also I don't want it to be super verbose. I'm not interested in trying to make it so small and compact and esoteric that I'm not going to understand how it works. But I do like to not have too much duplicated logic, such as it is. The moderation of that make it pretty and then make it work thing. Or make it work, then make it pretty. Pardon me. I did that backwards. We think about it. I is 0 is only special if show back is set, and this return value is special if show back is set. So maybe we want to do something like, if show back is set, then if I is equal to 0, this. Else I minus minus and fall through to this. So if show back is set, if you pick the first thing, then you clearly chose back, so it's this. Otherwise, you didn't choose the first thing, so adjust the index to be the actual thing that was chosen, and that's the thing that's returned. The other potential issue with this would fall from the idea that if the list of videos was empty, then the quick panel would show back and nothing else. You'd choose 0. It would end up saying Well, they would have no choice but to say back, wouldn't it? Even so, if there wasn't anything left in the list, theoretically this index might be bad, except that that can't happen because the list of tags comes from videos that have the tag, so it's kind of guaranteed that there's always going to be one. So can this be tighter? Three calls to callback somehow seems like one too many. I don't see a nice way around that though. Just as a test here, let's get rid of that for the time being. That, oh, that's not, this isn't the language I was using. Here we go. Knowing multiple languages and working in multiples of them can be a little bit unfortunate sometimes. Remember, we were talking recently in one of the live streams about Lua and the maintainers. One of the things that they are staunchly against is postfix operators and prefix operators like plus plus and minus minus in their language. The succinct way, and probably it works here, is I minus equals 1. This works as a thing, right? I'm assuming that I'm not just pulling that out of my butt. Yeah. Uh, Various people are very, or have been very unhappy historically with the developers of Lua for not providing the syntax sugar of being able to increment and decrement a variable without the extraness of these extra two characters. And the official response from the developers on that is feel free to modify your own version. It's like open source. And they even tell you exactly where you can include it. But that always seems to run afoul of that issue where sometimes when you want a feature, you want someone else to be responsible for it so that it just works for you. Uh, that's that. That's that. Boop. It's going to call it. I don't know that we necessarily need. I guess we do. Unless we want to throw a 0 and a flags in, a couple of zeros for flags. And I don't think we do. So yeah, we'll leave well enough alone on that one. So thought I heard someone at the door. Coming back to here, our callback needs to be more clever here. We're now gathering up the list of tags and asking it to pick a tag. We do this the bad way, such as it is. Call in find by tag, select video. We want show back to be set to true here. Let's close this file for the time being. And that one, we're not going to work on that. And we're not going to work on that either. Then we just have the two. I think we put the back in the wrong spot there, didn't we? Oh, no, we didn't. So we find this. And then we pick one. Pick tag is the one that's called. With the selected item, which it uses to get the list of videos to call this. So the question remains, if showback is currently set to false, why is it inserting that in there? Am I missing something obvious here? Is my week of Mondays continuing unabated? Oh, hey, that reminds me. This is the sort of thing that makes us sad. This is one of the things I worked on earlier. We are unhappy with the state of affairs. Still, a work in progress kind of thing. I also have one in case we accidentally get something to work, which I'll show you before the end of the stream if it turns out that that's not actually the case. So the only thing changed is, hmm, hmm. Did I add a true in the wrong spot and it seems to be having the effect that I thought it was going to have? Oh, that's an unfortunate what the heck. I don't think this is supposed to be here. That's tags, right? Yeah. Okay, so if showback defaults to false and select video isn't actually, wait, now I'm all confused. Whoops. This is like a double fail, man. I've really gotten off the track with what was going on here. Right. Find by tag is this. The command is select video. Sadly, for better or worse, there's 3 of these things. This is calling it with a list and a lambda and a placeholder. Oh, I added an extra argument there. Right on, man. All right, that'll make the old noodle throb. Okay. I put it before the placeholder. Right as rain. Okay. The ironic thing is I didn't do a thing that would make it to work, but I kind of intended it to work, and so it accidentally worked. So back isn't set, so nothing is displayed there, which is exactly what one might expect. And but if we did say true, we might even put it here. Because just a bare Boolean doesn't necessarily help you know what's going on. Me anyway. So I don't know if that violates a if that's a PEP violation for code style, but now we got it back. And yeah, it's going to get all unhappy about that. But that does seem to be, I think, doing what we would expect. I think we need to start maneuvering this code over here. Now, the other thing is, if you want to be able to call select tag with a list of things, and you want to be able to select a video from a list of things, then select tag needs to give you back a list of all of the videos that associated with whatever tag the person picked. But you also want to be able to call it a second time. And do we want it to have to gather the list of tags every time that's called? Or do we want to be able to pass that in? Let's go one step at a time. This is sort of the thing we're looking at here. So something like yaw, and all tags would be tag list like this. Starts off as that for video in videos. Get the tags out of this if there is one. If not, get an empty list for every tag. If that tag's not already in the list, add it as an array and then append this video to the end. And as we said previously, theoretically, if this was a set, we could guard ourselves against the problem of the same video appearing twice inside of the same tag. But that's also an indication that someone was an idiot and wasted their precious 500 characters of tag space. So on the whole, harmless and likely to never happen. So that's low on the priority of things to code around. We need to get the list of sorted items, and now we have that. Now, I don't think I did have something for, I did not have a thing for that. There's nothing special about this whatsoever, but there probably should be. So what do we think about how I went too far back, and I'm probably very unhappy. Yeah, we want sets is what we want. Which one of these probably has some character we could use to represent a tag? I thought I had something in there, but I think I might have decided not to bother. Chess symbol, an arrow, a pencil just like the clock. I think I'm thinking of that. A hand to point. There's a special coronavirus section now. Okay. I don't think we're going to get a cards. Oh, it's the thing underneath. Right, right. Math symbol. Maybe arrows to the right. Choose an item from the list. What looks cool? Fat chevron. Could be. For the sake of not wasting an hour, let's say this. Then we jump up temporarily in here. No, over in this one. May want to extend this for that too. We'll worry about that later. Something like so. Browsing in the quick panel, this kind is, whoops, used to signify that the item in the list is a tag on a video. Okay. Ooh, what was that? All right, that's the previous error. Oh, cool. Okay, so coming back to here, we actually need more than just this. We want items equals a list of quick panel item, where the first item is going to be Yeah, like so. How far in did I go on that one? That's too far, isn't it? Yeah, that's a 3. That's what I thought. That's 5. That's way too many. The first thing there is going to be a tag. The second thing needs to be empty because the others are empty. It's a video tag. Oh. I remember what I wanted to do here. How do we want to pull this off? We'll leave that there for a second. That's that part. And the last is kind tag. For tag in sorted tag list keys. Right. Oh, one more. So it's going to take the list of keys, sort it, and then insert that. So this would be tag list tag. And we want a length on it. And then that would be the list of items, theoretically. So let's see how that's looking. So if we came back over here, oh, we need to export that thing too. Right as rain. That goes there and here. So here we can include that, come down to select the tag, and that's going to be the list of videos, which is results. And I already forget, call it with none, and the last, whoops, wrong key. The last key is the placeholder. Browse by tag. So theoretically, whoops, shoot. That's what we want. Was that an error? It was not. That was Sublinet. That is totally okay. Let's see what our new display looks like, if anything. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, I guess if I implemented it properly, huh? I used, yeah. We'll snake this out of here because that seems to be a thing that we need for the current window. Like so, looks good. I'm not going to lie, I was expecting that to have more things. So result none, find by tag. Oh, this should just be print I. Pardon me. Here's my issue. That should look a little more like that. We're close to something here. One video in that one. 34 videos that include build system tags, huh? Whoosh. And then picking it actually does nothing and or generates an error. But that does allow us to do this. Woohoo! That one's also a work in progress, as is adding it to my dashboard. I'm currently having to press a key and remembering to press it twice so things don't get all unhappy. So all of this code can now go away. We do not want this. That is the level of artistic skill that I have. I just saw it play back in the stream thing here. It's not a bug being squashed, but it is a slightly happy guy. So we got that going on. Okay, so we're going to select tag. We actually need to provide a callback for this thing. And this is where we start actually working this bit out. So the callback is going to need to know what. It's going to call callback, which is the one that was provided. The first thing it needs to provide is I think. Kick the snake. Oh, that's a bug, isn't it? Oh, you can't click on them in here. I've been does this work over here? Oh, sad. I had the idea of an animated bug walking along on the front of the screen and then a rubber stamp that says fixed slams down on it. This is select video. This is the one. So our pick invokes the callback for you. So let's say we do the same thing here. Thinking about this, when you invoke the callback, let's say we're going to have the tag that was actually picked, which would be the actual string if you cared to look it up, or none if the user canceled. The next argument here would be tag videos, which is, maybe you don't even need to do that. I'm thinking what we want is the list of videos that match the tag, but we also need to know the tag list so that a recurrent callback in here doesn't have to regenerate this. But is it really strictly necessary to provide the tag and the list of videos that was selected, and then also the list of tags? If given the list of tags and the one that person was picked, you could easily get that. So let's say tag list is the two things that we get here. Which also makes this a little bit easier because we can here say tag list is none and tag list is equal to, tag list is none, then do this. Otherwise, we're going to assume that this is the value that you already got. We need to get the quick panel items, which is going to have to skadoodle over this again. The alternative to this is to not provide the tag back, but to provide the quick panel item that the person chose, and then they need to know that the first thing that's there is the tag to be able to look it up, just to not have to calculate this again. But I don't know that I necessarily like that. So say we want something like this. How did we straight it down here? Or did we not? How did it look before, I guess is the way that I'm thinking about this. None if, yeah. This would look like none if I is equal to -1, else. This is the part that we need to know what's the first field in the quick panel items class called? The last thing is going to be tag list. And then we don't need that. I wonder what that is. Oh, the index of the thing I picked. Derp. I remember now. I remember what's happening over. Alrighty. Oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. Pardon me. I need to actually click the tab there. There we go. To make the dot go away. Not in that one, huh? Oh, it was. Oh, is it trigger? Oops, don't do that. The very first item in the quick panel item. Oh, that's a completion item. Pardon me. Oh, it is a name tuple, so I could have just done it with a thing, huh? Oh, I guess it's not a name tuple per se, but so. Trigger is definitely the first thing. Good, good. It's not thing, it's trigger. It's Lone Ranger's horse. That will solve that particular thing. So we can invoke this with a list of videos, a callback, an optional list of tags, and a placeholder. If the tag list is none, it will gather the list of tags. Otherwise, it'll use the one that's here. It comes up with the list of things to display in the quick panel, which is the tag nothing on the bottom line because we want these things to be compact and there's no extra information there. The list of number of videos in there, a kind for things. Does this all fit? Ish. For those, and then trigger the window, and the callback is triggered with the tag or none. And the second thing is the whole list of gathered tags, so that the first time you invoke it, you don't need the list of tags. The second time you invoke it, if you invoke it, then you get to choose that. So augmenting further our find by tag, or select tag, I should say. If we copy this over here just temporarily, simplistically, we would do select tag, just like we, let's do it down here. The thing we want is self.pickTag, and then placeholder is equal to that, then it'll gather it every time. And then the item here is not this. This is going to get the tag selected and tag list, which is the full list of tags. And then we could say the tag is not none, then the result is the result of getting the value of the tag list at the provided tag, and then we call select video on this. Okay, this is coming together. This is coming together. This is the bit we don't actually need. Whoops, that's not right. This is the one we don't actually need. Pardon me. Tracking this all in, you call playlist contents. It's going to do this to call select tag. It's going to say, please pick a tag, call pick tag, browse by tag. Pick tag gets the tag and the full list of tags that's coming from the callback. If tag is none, do nothing. Otherwise, the result is this. We could actually change this to be video so it's clear. The videos is the results of the tag list at the tag that was actually chosen. Then we call the select video item. We give it a lambda of self-select video for the video chosen and tag list, let's say. We'll have to verify this. We're going to say we want to go back to the list of tags. That's copy video link. Now, this also has a tag list like this. And if video was none, nothing was actually chosen. We didn't have to do anything. This is actually grabbing stuff for the time code, which is also something that we need to do here. So we need to probably do something like this again. One more time, but we blazed trail here, if you will. This is probably also a roundabout example of using chained quick panels to gather information. And again, we could be using a list input handler for this, but we do want to have that kind information, which isn't currently available. If video is none, do that. Otherwise, we need to say if video ID is equal to back. That's what we called that, right? And the changes to select video. Let's do this. We call it with the special sentinel value of back. Yes, indeed we do. Then we want to return select tag. And the thing we want is the first item here isn't actually used for anything unless it needs to gather the videos, right? It is needed. Oh no, that's not the variable, that's the thing in the string. So this can be null if this is actually provided. So we'll say we don't need the list of videos, but what we do need is the callback, and the callback is the same as the one that was used before. Pick tag, and this time we have a tag list to provide and a placeholder of browse by tag. We might be getting another victory here. Here's a list of tags. Let's say we pick something with more than one video, API. So we could go back. That brings us back to the list of tags, although apparently we forgot an argument here. If we chose something with one item, we could go back, and that also works. Now that did have something the first time, right? Oh, it didn't. Oh. Interesting. Let's fix that. I didn't add the I didn't add this. That's our issue here. So that's all loaded. Cool. Okay. I smell success in our immediate future. We're browsing by tag. So let's say we pick 1000 subscriber special and go back. We go back. This is something that has one item in it, so it's kind of special in that regard. And if we pick this, it's taking us to the time code selector, and it knows it actually picked the right video because it's used there. So that's good. And then we can pick this, and that should work out. And if we even wanted to, we could even do this. And that is totally the thing that it's supposed to be. So that works. We could find by tag and choose something with more than one thing. And then we could go back and choose that one again, let's say. And let's say we pick 4 of 5, not actually sorted correctly. And what we're going to pick here is this should be 4 of 5. It's the one in the middle. It doesn't have any time code. So it copied a link directly. And I did see your question there, Ashwin. If we paste this here, that is Simple Note plugin 4 of 5. So that is totally working. Okay, nice. I mean, this isn't the greatest, but that totally works. And in answer to your question, which was, if you're not following the chat, could one chain an arbitrary number of quick panels while keeping track of state? Yes, you could if you have the correct information for that. We kind of looked at that earlier, but one of the things that I did in override audit was, let's say you want to open a resource, which is the same as package resource viewers one, except that I don't have any commands here that extract the resource accidentally or extract the whole package, which makes it a little bit safer. When we choose this, it's showing us the list of packages, and we could choose one, like say default, and we could go back if we want. Or we could say we want to go into default and we want to go into send to trash, and then we could go back if we want, and we're still here, or out all the way. ActionScript only has a couple of things in it. If we looked in the Python, it has snippets in here. If I chose the user package, then I have macros. I have snippets by a language, and I can go back through all of these things. It's all just a matter of keeping track of the state that lets you go back to the place you were before. Now, what this is actually doing is threefold. There's 3 things that underlie this, and they're in this file here. Override audits, library for browse. Well, I used OA browse last time. That found it better. Override audit source browse. There's 3 classes in here. There's package browser, which is this. It provides you, it gets a list of all known packages, and then it just allows you to choose one. And if that's all you wanted, that's all you get. You get a callback that tells you. We also have resource browser. Oh, that's not actually, sorry. Browser is a better term. The next one is resource browser. This takes a list of file resources as you would see them in the view package file command, explodes them all out into the nested structure necessary to represent disk files, and then allows you to browse those, and it tells you which one was chosen. And then this one is just a class that creates, if we looked here, it creates a package browser and a resource browser. And all this one in the middle is doing, this is the most complicated one of all of them, is this part, which takes the file specification and splits them out. And when it actually browses, it has a little stack of items. So when you choose something with a child, it adds what you currently are looking at in the list to the stack and then displays the panel again. And when you choose the first item and there's something in the stack, then it knows you're going back. So it pulls that list of items off and then just calls the panel again with those items. So it's sort of self-chaining them through the closures. Is there a simple example of this in that? This per se, let's take a look. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, it would be in here. And I'm going to say this nested panel source, I think, does something like this. Well, it's kind of, this one uses a different structure, but the same general idea. You provide this command stuff that looks somewhat similar to that, and then it does the same sort of stack, display, and pop to carry stuff in and out. So the answer to that question is yes. And here's a link to that to anybody that doesn't want to type that all in themselves. On this particular case, this one and override audit does it by maintaining a little array that is a stack that it stores in an array basically. Um, and then it makes sure to always pass that to the callback so that it can have access to it. What we're doing in this thing, well, not this one because that's override audit, is taking advantage of the fact that we can use scope. I want to say closures because that's what I'm used to calling those from the Lua world. Lexical closures. I'm gonna fix that because that's gonna bug me that it's spelled incorrectly. I shouldn't have spell checking turned on. But it can capture, like, pick has access to this stack frame even if it's called later. So we're using that to sort of capture the data that we need. Okay. Given a list of videos or a list of tags, display to the user a list of all of the unique tags to allow them to select one. The callback is invoked with the selected tag and a dictionary where the keys are unique tags seen in the video list, and the values are arrays of videos that appeared. If videos is not, specify videos to create a tag list, which is returned in the callback, or specify a previously created tag list to reuse it, is an example of what this is actually doing. And this is a nicer issue of, right now the list of tags doesn't have the ability to, oh, you're welcome, Ashwin there. Hope that's helpful for you. I wrote that particular example quite some time ago, but I'm pretty sure it works. I mean, I wouldn't have put it up if it didn't. But that was early on in my Python career, so there may be some more better ways to handle that now. um, the tag list doesn't support going back to something else because you sort of envision that it's going to be the be all and end all of stuff. Select videos does allow going back, which is nice. And in this case, we need a slightly different form of callback. That's why we have a little internal function here, because we need special logic for invoking the callback with an argument of none if nothing was picked, or if something was picked, then we might need to return the special sentinel value if we're trying to show the background, or sorry, the go back thing, or we need to actually invoke it with this. I don't see any nice way to coalesce all of this together, specifically because if show back is true, then there's two special cases. One with I being 0, which means no video was picked, go back. And the second one being something was picked, but because we added a special item here, we need to adjust it back by 1 in order to resolve it. Slightly, I mean, this code could be slightly tighter if maybe No, it couldn't be. If there was an adjustment, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to get much better. I mean, if I'm the one that's in charge of it, I should say. Uh, but that works. So we're okay with this as a thing. And our little fake command here got a little nicer as well. So when we get playlist contents, we select a tag out of it. We pass it the videos the first time. We don't pass it the tag list. It calls pick tag, which says if tag was actually picked, get the list of videos associated with it, and select the video. And we notice this is the bit where we use a capture or a closure to say that when we invoke this, it's going to capture the value of the tag list that was given to this callback all the way into here, so that if it needs to call select tag again, it can pass it back in the next call. And the next call to select tag doesn't have the video list, but it doesn't need it because it has the list of tags, and you only need to provide one of them or the other. You need to provide it the list of videos so it can create the tag list, or you pass it the tag list. And that's just so that it doesn't have to iterate this every time, although it does have to create this every time. But that seems like a smaller burden, such as it is. I mean, it could also return this back too, but there are some optimizations that can wait for later. Potential issues with this are that we're throwing placeholder equals in a couple of different places with the same text, which kind of gives me the skeeves a little bit, but on the whole, um, works well. Um, the last thing we might want is a select time code for a particular video. Um, Seems like that might be cool. Let's do something here first. I can maximize that, turn the sidebar back on. And is that a thing? No, that's not a thing. I thought that was a thing. We need this to go back to that because I prefer side-by-side diffs. Now we are currently in this tag experiment branch, and the command that we're using to test these things isn't going to make it back to master, but the stuff that we're committing here is. So I'm going to make commits for this new stuff, cherry pick them over to master, and then they'll be available there, and we can do something, to add this to the existing commands, perhaps tonight, perhaps in a different stream, or not in a stream if I do it sometime between next Tuesday. But we did have success. We had success on that one. Pretty pleased with getting a little bit of success on that bad boy. So let's check what we got here. We added select tag to that and to the list of things that we're importing. We in utils, which is the important thing, let's try not to commit any changes to find by tag because that's a file that's not going to exist in a minute. But these things are going to exist. We have augmented select tag and select video. Maybe we need to do this in 2 bits. That might be an idea. Let's unstage that one for a second. Let's say oh, yeah, right. That's going to be tricky to do, isn't it? No, it's not. Select videos, all of that stuff. This is that bit where I wish merge had an index editor. I guess I technically don't need that for this one. If we stage just these lines for that and stage this hunk, then the list of things that are staged are, yeah, that's what I thought. We also need to this is going to stage this and not this, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe that works a little better than I thought it did. Not quite. This really complicates the notion of doing this in one shot, you know? Short of temporarily redacting the other bit, stashing the stages, applying. That's how I used to do that. Maybe we won't worry about that here, and I can tweak it up after the fact. I'll split that commit apart. So we did that. We added select tag to the list of things exported by lib, and yeah, we added it to that file as an import and shot it out of lib. And here in lib, those are things used for these bits here, and I can split those apart later, but this is all just this. So we can say tag browse and video go back functionality and commit those two files in. We're going to leave find by tag alone for this operation and swap on back over to here. So that's the first bit of this. This file is now clean. Let's say the thought occurs that we could augment the API by not having these placeholder arguments and just having it use a hard-coded placeholder, because we tend to be using the same ones everywhere. So that's a little bit of an easy tweak that could happen. Given a video prompt, what order did we do this in before? For select video, we did show back equals false. And just very quickly, I didn't update the document for this, did I? If show back is true, an extra item is added to allow the user to go back to a previous panel. In this case, the callback returns a video with the special Sentinel ID of back. Okay, let's very quickly jack that into the last commit just for this hunk here before I forget, because we want our documentation in the code to actually look, correct, such as this. Okay, jump back up here. Select the table of contents out of the video. Oh, oops. Grab the table of contents and prompt the user to choose one of the entries. Return time code and let's say return a tuple of the time code value and the talk entry when chosen. Okay. Oops, won't return, it will be called with, pardon me. If the user user cancels, callback is invoked with none. If show back is true, we're going to be unhappy about something in a second, I bet. Having to do with a certain, I guess, upper level still technically applies. An extra entry to allow the user to go back a panel is displayed. We again have a sentinel here. Right on, that seems to be cool. Now let's come back over to here where I have some stuff. Oh, one more return value here, but let's grab this and throw it under here. We'll also slide that back, and we need a little bit of this and a little bit of this as well. Did I not? No, I didn't, did I? Whoops, that one copied nothing. And we're gonna need, I guess I could just throw these in here, can't I? Throw this one down here. And this one will go here. This is the one where we're using a pencil icon for that. That stuff can stay in this file. We don't care because we're not going to do anything with it anyway for now. And then we can tighten that up somewhat. So it's going to grab the table of contents, prompt the user to choose one of the entries. The callback will be called with the tuple of the timecode value. If the user cancels, the callback is invoked with that. Okay, so you either get none if the user cancels. You get the time code and the table of contents entry if they chose. You get -1 and -1. What do you do if the video doesn't have a time code in it? That's one extra case we need for this. We are, in fact, going long tonight as well. I'm used to getting these things sort of tied up around 11 o'clock, all things being equal, and I don't have to generate a devlog today, so that's going to be cool. We need what? Well, one thing we could do here is provide a time code of 0 and none for the message. For our purposes, we don't care about the message. If you did care about the message, then knowing that there wasn't one would be the signal to you that that was the case. If there is no table of contents in the video, say this, pardon me, from the video description, the callback is invoked immediately with the value was this actually, oh, I need extra stuff. I think. Oh, this is the functionality that's actually doing to generate the link, right? We need the callback, which is what the other thing is going to do. And in this one, it's going to be the annotation. Well, we'll worry about that in a second. If we look at it again, we need something with actual time code in it. The trigger is this, and the annotation is the time, right? Cool. That's probably easy to remember. There's sort of the reverse order here. No text entry and type code is for the start of the video, since that's generally the failure case for something like this anyhow. So the table of contents is going to use the regex described above. If there isn't one, return callback that. Is there a reason why I decided it was going to be a tuple? No. With the time code and table of, oops. With, pardon me, we just do this. With the time code value, and the table of contents text of the entry chosen. If user cancels, both values would be null. In video, the callback is invoked with a time code of a text of none. Shoot. This really violates some rules of etiquette to sometimes pass a string and sometimes not, right? Let's say this. Is the special sentinel value back? There's a sameness. Grab the description of the video. If there's nothing there, then we return the callback of that and none as two values. And we're good. We don't need to worry about anything else. Otherwise, we have a placeholder. We have a table of contents with the items that are listed here for all of them. If show back, then talk.insert that thing that we did down here in this one. Only it's talk to insert a special item into the list that says to go back with the same kind. We display that. We don't choose pick here. I'm assuming this is going to have to work somewhat similar to this. We go back to select time code. Oop. And this would just be pick. And a placeholder. Everything still seems to be okay. Okay. If it was -1, then the user canceled. Both values are none, is what we said would happen. So none, none. Cool. Return callback. This would be back. And this can be just an empty string. So we don't blow anything up. That's the special sentinel value. Otherwise, this would be the table of contents item for the entry provided. And the first thing is the annotation. And the second one is the trigger. Still compiles. See, once you work out the logic for it once, it's fairly easy to do it again. And then you sort of start thinking in the back of your head that there's enough sameness between these things that maybe this could be further rolled back into something that's more generic for what we want here. Although in this case, the details of the items that we're providing, in order to do something like that, we need some sort of configuration object to pass. Definitely a thing that could be done. if this wasn't Devember and I wasn't doing a lot of work in a live stream, chances are good I would actually make the thing to do something like that, and then it would be something handy to have for later. And we once again say, we'll throw that there. Kind of unhappy about how that went. Maybe that's going to bother me too much, Maybe we need to bump everything out in extra because we already have one down there anyway. And then we can grab that one again. That's going to come out of lib into here where we can fit it in. Nice. Now we don't need the regular expression anymore. We can get rid of that. We don't need any of these things anymore. In fact, we don't even need any of this stuff anymore. It would just kind of look like that. Playlist contents is going to be select tag. It's going to choose pick tag. Pick tag is going to show a video. That's going to call select video. This is where things start to get mild. We don't need to do that anymore. If it was back, then we go back to selecting a tag. We don't care. Otherwise, we say select time code. We'll grab this so we can remember what it was that it looked like. I'll comment it this time so I don't have problems deleting it before. All the code down here is the same as saying select time code, and the very first thing is the actual video, which is the selected video. So that's easy. Self.pickTalk. This is something that could be chosen here. Maybe. As the callback for this bad boy. Because we're not getting an index, we don't need to use a lambda for this per se at the moment. And then the last is, well, let's say showback equals false and placeholder equals, oh, we don't need to provide a placeholder for that one, do we? Because we are self-creating a placeholder. That's right. This is one example where we're going to take that out. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We're going to say that. So you can provide one, otherwise it's going to default one. That seems like a nice way to go. Then we don't need to even provide the placeholder argument here because it's going to automatically pick the one that we want. And that replaces all of this stuff. So it can just go away. Now, this is going to get as entries the time code and the text. And then we look back at our little document here. This might be the part where we, whoops, zoom that, close that, and shoot that back over to there so we can see this while we work on this. Let's make sure everything's still, right. Comma that bad boy up. Cool. Right on. We are going okay there. So if only do something if the time code's not none, because the time code is going to be none if the person cancels. We're going to need an extra value in here. We're going to need to pass the video in so we can, the video and the tag list. Now we're 2 levels deep in the amount of information we have to stash here. We're going to get the time code, the text. We're going to get the video, and we're going to get the tag list like this. Okay, let's zoom that up for just a second. Lambda AB is going to be self.picTag for AB video and tag list. Whoops, I did that in the wrong spot, didn't I? Shoot. Undo. That part was okay. Oh no, it's not, because it needs to pass it through to pick tag. This also has the wrong name, and that's part of my confusion there. Let's fix that. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. All right, we'll do that again. This needs to be a lambda, which gets A and B so that it can call self.picTag, pass it A, B. The video and the tag list. We're going to provide it the tag list that it already had. Now we're going to bring her down a level here. And this one we hit that, the person did back. Otherwise they do this. Oh, that's not AB. Man, I got too many levels at once here. It's calling select tag. What is that actually? The selected tag and a dictionary where the tags are unique keys. I may have gone too far down the garden path on this operation. Let's trace it through. We call select tag. It has the list of videos. It calls pick tag with its tag and its tag list, which is what we have here. And we tell it to browse by tag, which is nice. If something was actually chosen, then we get the tag and call select video. Select video gets called with the video and the tag list because we're getting it's choosing a tag tells you the video. Oh, did I document that wrong? Is that actually what happens here? No, that's right. It does get a tag list. Phew. For a second there, I forgot what it was that we actually did there. So we're calling it with the tag list that it got from there. We call into select video with that. And then that comes down here where we get a video and a tag list. And if the ID is back, we call select tag. I think I was trying to do multiple levels on this all at once, and that has kind of screwed me up a little bit here. That is an unfortunate turn of events. I think I forgot to set that thing to monitor. Is that something I can... I'm going to test something here because this is a pretty big failure of my understanding of stuff. That blew up. Okay, that's cool. I like the way that went. So I'm going to... Oh, I can't do that without actually displaying it. Shoot. Well, we'll worry about that the next time it actually happens. Let me know if the second one sounded the same as the first, because the last time I played around with turning monitoring on, it screwed up how OBS was sending the data out to the stream. But yeah, if you weren't here at the beginning, I'm sort of working on making, you know, funner stuff like that. Um, okay, let's trace through it again from the start to the end. We call playlist contents gets us the value of the thing, so we ask it to select a tag. We pass it a list of videos, not a list of things, and tell it to call pick tag. Pick tag gets called with the tag that was chosen and a list of tags, and the person actually chose something, so it calls select video, which is something in the utils folder here, which gives it the list of videos and says, please pick one, and we want to go back. And when someone has chosen something, please call select video and give it the video that was selected, which is the thing that it invokes here. And also the list of tags that was gathered from this. And self-select video is this one, so it has the video and the tag list, and then someone says they want to select a tag out of this list, which would, or they selected a tag, I should say. So we call select time code, which is the new thing we added that provides it the video. This is the part where we need to add some extra stuff, and it will call pick talk. I totally did have that right, but I forgot that there was multiple layers of things happening in this thing. Whoosh. So this needs to self the time code that it was chosen, the text that was actually provided, the video, and the tag list, like yeah. So that when you call this and we say lambda AB, it's going to call this because select time code invokes the oh, it's up, it's not, it's up, pardon me. Select time code invokes the callback with the text and the time code and the text associated with the time code. So that's A and B. So we would say the time code, the text associated with the time code, then the video, then the tag list that we were provided, and please allow someone to go back if they want to. We don't need to pass a placeholder to this one because it shows a placeholder of the actual video that was chosen, which seems like a sensible default. If we ever need to change that, it's easy enough to provide one because I made this have a default value. In fact, we should do that for all of these things, and I'll probably do that as well. And should this actually be invoked, this is the part where we do something. Whoops, do not do that. Thank you very much. Now, if we get to the part where someone said to select a time code, the first thing we have to do here is this. So if the time code was none, then it got all the way down to time code and the person pressed escape, counts it out of the whole thing, right? Otherwise, we definitely got a time code. And we can see here, the time code is the one that's provided if the entry was chosen. If there's no table of contents, you just automatically get a 0. If show back is true and someone went back, the time code is back. So if the time code is equal to back, then we know that it got all the way to the time code. Someone decided they picked the wrong video. They want to go back. And in that case, we need to call self-select video to go back to the thing where we got told that a video was chosen. And when we call that, we need to provide it the video that we got and the tag list that we were provided, which will basically shoot it all the way back to, oh, we need to go back one farther. Table of contents goes back from here to pick tag, right? It goes from that to tag, tag goes to video, video goes to time code. If you go back from time code, it's just going to take you back to the video that you chose. So it needs to go back to sorry, pick tag, I should say. Yes, it needs to go back to here. So we need more information. Shoot! It needs the tag so that it can show you the list. Well, actually, it doesn't need the tag. It just needs to, no, it does need the tag because it needs to know which list of stuff to provide. Right. This is the sort of thing where you start getting the idea that you should have an object that shoots all of this data around, but we'll leave that for a cleanup. So this needs to call this with a tag and a tag list in select video. So this could go tag and tag list like this. And then when we call that, it's going to call pick tag. We're going to provide it here too. So we're going to say, when the user picks a tag, tell the video, tell the tag list. And this is self.pick. Oh, sorry, that's if it's back. It calls. Oh, sorry, that's going. Okay. Select tag gets that. It calls pick tag with just its base arguments, which is a tag and a tag list. It's the only two things that this thing actually needs. It uses that to call select video, where we pass the two things that we got, the tag and the tag list. It also gets passed to the video. So select video gets the video, the tag, and the tag list. If someone chooses back, then we invoke select tag again, which is what we did up here. We pass it no videos, the list of tags, and a callback to tell it to call pick tag. And we don't need to actually provide it anything here. I think we went a little bit too far with this one. If that one was pick tag, this one could be pick tag. So this should just be, I think, self.pick tag. That sound right? Because it's the same as there. We don't need to carry any information about the chosen tag forward anymore. We're going back to actually allowing the person to pick a tag in the first place. So we could just do that. Otherwise, we're saying we want to select time code because this is the user actually picked a video. The playlist details asks you to select a tag from the list of videos that was returned. Choosing a tag asks you to choose a video from the list of videos in that tag. Select video wants to display the time code. So you want to go back from choosing a video to choosing a tag so that you can get at a different list of videos, or a different tag, if you will. There's probably some extra work that could happen here. We call set time code here. We call pick talk. The two values that it's getting are the time code and the text, but we also need the video, and we also need the tag and the tag list so that we can call this. There's the text, the time code, the text, the video, the tag, and the tag list. And then if the time code's none, we go. If you were looking at the time codes and you chose that you wanted to go back, you don't want to go back to, you want to go back to choosing a video, which isn't select video. It's a literal call to select video. And when we call select video, we need to give it the list of videos. Huh. Let's do this. If we print those things, let's give this thing a test. just to see where we are. So the first thing we get is tags, which is right. And we hit this. We're at a video. We expect to go back to the list of tags. And we do. Good. If we choose this, we're getting videos. We expect this to just print something, right? Which is the percentage value for that. That's what we expect. If we chose this, there's one video in this. When we choose it, we get time code. Now this isn't actually displaying the back entry because we forgot to include that value. So if we choose one, it just tells us, which is what we expect. But we want this to be showback is true so we can continue going forward from this operation. So when we ask this about this information, we can go to, did this one have one? Is this the thing I was using? Choose it. Now there is a go back. If we choose this, we should go back to the list of tags so we can choose a different video. But it explodes. Yeah, that's what I thought. We went a little too far there. Here there's only one thing. If you go back, it goes there. I guess this should take you back to the list of videos, right? So it should do the same thing that pick tag. It should call pick tag. If you cancel timecode, it should call pick tag. We want to call the self.pickTag, and what we want to provide this thing is the tag and the tag list, so we can go back. So we can choose this. We need something that has actual stuff to double check in here. There, time code, back to the list of the videos that we actually chose, so we could choose a different video, and out. And if we went into here, that's a bad choice. That's a bad choice. That's still a bad choice. That one actually appears twice, so that's kind of funky. Here we go. There's three things here. We choose the first one. And, oh, that one actually doesn't have something. Really? Really? I did that to myself? That is not going to tell us anything we're interested in. It's nice that we can go back, though. I guess we need a more recent one. Does this one have one? Probably not, huh? No. One of the things that this could actually do is tell me which one of my videos doesn't have table of contents in it, so that's nice. How about that? Later things in this. This definitely has one. So if we choose that, we're choosing time codes. We go back one. We're back at the list of things in that tag. Now it occurs to me that this placeholder should be copy video link in tag. And then we can go all the way back and out. So I think we more or less have what we want here, but we need to clean it up in petite peu, if you will. So if the time code is back, go back. That totally works. What are the other options here? If there's no table of contents, then you just get the time code and you don't need to care. We're handling show back. So at this point, we don't care about the text. We only care about the time code bit. So this is the part where we just do this. We need the video and the time code. We copy it. We don't need this anymore. By Jove, I think we're about to see something happen here. Fingers ready to tap Super F5 if this actually works. And we'll probably hear it twice so I can turn on input monitoring. Choose. Why is that? That's weird. Nevertheless, here we are at the bottom. This definitely has something in it. We can go out all the way back to here and in. And this one doesn't have a time code. So, oh, it does have time codes. Right. So I should be able to choose this and end up with a link on the clipboard that has a time code of 62 on the end. And it does not. Oh. Probably do that, huh? Let's give that a little bit of test. Man, we were close on that one. We tested all the ins and outs of this thing. So this, oh, it's not, maybe not taking the -1 into account there. Let's see. That got 0. Okay. That means that this if I is 0, otherwise I is subtracted by 1. So this seems to be the bit where it is perhaps going doolally. Huh. Still, it didn't crash, so I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to click this and say that this should be monitor and output. And then I'll hide that. We'll do that again when we get more success, and then I'll see if I hear it in my ear too. Why does this not do what we want? Let's do a little bit of this action just to see. We're getting pretty close to 3 hours here. I do not want to go much past 3, if at all. Hours, that is, not night. Theoretically, I could just sit here for forever. The more fun, I've been having a lot of fun on these live streams, by the way, so I'm really seriously contemplating the idea of picking a day that I'm on vacation and just spending like a buttload of time playing around on the stream. Okay. Find by tag. Now, if we choose this, we definitely go back. If we choose this, yeah, that is totally if I is 0, return callback underscore back and none. Otherwise, subtract 1 from I. How is this going awry? In the time code picker. It's always none no matter what. So if is that how I did that before? Or did that accidentally got joined? That's how I did this down here, right? Oh, that I did have it that way. Weird. I don't like that, but I'll make this one the same. If I is 0, that means you chose back, so do that. Otherwise, you need to subtract 1 from I because we added that special go back item. Oh, we don't need to subtract -1 in this one because I think that is the issue because the table of contents has that issue in it. But if you pick the second one, the difference is in the other one that we're indexing a different array. When we choose videos that exist in the tag, we add that entry to the list shown in the quick panel, but we use the index to index the actual videos. Here, the table of contents is actually just the list of all of the entries in the quick panel. So the first one is special and everything else isn't. We can actually probably make that just even a little bit cooler. So if I trigger this, I think we're close, guys. This should give us the 62, and it totally does, and it printed that down there so we can see it. There it is. If we choose this, we shouldn't get a time code because I made it smart enough to not include a time code 0 because that's the default. And that all works. If we chose something that doesn't have a time code, then it just immediately invokes it with 0 and everything works and gives us the appropriate link. So that totally works. It works, I say, it works. Woohoo! It's kind of an anticlimactic woohoo. I'm still looking for an adequate graphic of fireworks. Oh, and before I forget anything else, I'm going to move this up one because it's in a weird order. Okay, that is quite cool. Let's redact that out of there. Let's say that this should work the same as this, right? If I is -1, trigger the callback with none and none to let someone know that the thing was canceled. Otherwise, if we're being asked to show going back and the user picked the first one, then return the special sentinel value back with some text, which is the same as this. Otherwise, whatever the person chose is just the item that we want. So that makes that a little tighter too. If I changed this so that it was none and empty text, then this could be callback none if I equals 1, else if show back an I equals 0 back, else talk I annotation or something. I'm going to say no. No, we do not want to do that. But this definitely works. So I'm going to say thus. We added select time code. We needed to import regular expression. We have a new table of contents thing. We have the regular expression that has that. We have the new select time code. Let's go ahead and stage that up. And then the last bit is find by command. So time code browse and go back functionality and go like so. Now the last thing to do here is just double check that we don't have any redundant stuff here. Pick tag is pretty tight. Pick tag is calling select video with tag and tag list. And this is definitely using tag. And, oh, sorry. It's definitely using tag in that call. It's definitely using tag list in that call. So that we want. When we call pick table of contents, we pass video tag and tag list, video tag and tag list, just like so, with the text and the time code. So are we using video? Yes, we need it to make the link. Are we using tag? Yes, we need it to go back. Are we using tag list? Yes, we need it to go back. That's aces. And let's just do one more little bit of cleanup here. Let's throw this over here. Start with this one. The placeholder here has a default value. That's what we want. Select tag. So if we did this, we might say placeholder equals placeholder or browse by tag, like this. And in that case, everywhere we call select tag, which is here and here, we don't need to pass this placeholder anymore, which will make this look nicer. Especially since that one's all crunky. Let me go like so. And then in this one, placeholder is none. Da, da. Yes. Select tag, select video. This is some stuff. Now this does have something, right? If I do this, it would actually be this one. Doesn't display anything right now. When we call pick tag, it calls, oh, it says copy video link. So let's say just in this one, we say, how was I doing it in the other ones? Right before the, no, here I did it right before we gather the list of things. So that should go there. And this one should go here. We'll call that one select video as a default, but for the purposes of this, we don't actually want to do that. When we call select tag, we're happy with the default here. We're going to actually throw this up here. Wrap that and throw a tag on it so that we can actually go like yaw. And that's the last of those. So let's reset that. When we do this, we get told browse by tag. We actually probably want to change that. Copy video link from tag. Let's do that now that I think about it. Just so that it's very clear while you're choosing what you're actually choosing to do, right? So we see it pop up and say copy video link from tag, and then we choose one. And then it says copy video link from bloop. That's the tag. I guess I should add the word tag here. One more time. we refine in on these sorts of things. So if we choose this, we get copy video link from that, and then we hit it, time code in, and you choose one, or we go back, maybe we choose plugin 101, maybe we choose 9, and there we go. We go up, 9, introduction to input handlers, and here's your introduction link. Swank. Then we come up here and we'll just go ahead and say, leave that alone. Stage this hunk, stage this hunk, and add default placeholders. Commit. All that's left is this command, which we don't want to have with this particular name. So we don't need to worry about it. I'm not going to commit that particular thing. But this does mean that we have successfully implemented the ability to select from a list of tags, select a video from a list of tags, select a time code from inside of a video, and they all have the ability to go back to some other thing, except for choosing from a tag, which currently doesn't have one. But that's only because I can't currently conceive of a notion of how you would end up in a situation looking inside of the contents of a tag, or sorry, looking at choosing a tag and going back from somewhere for now in a quick panel, because we probably want the list of tags, say, to insert in an autocomplete panel. That's one of the things that I had planned. So 100% success on what we wanted to do tonight. And we have some magic graphics in there, which I think worked quite well. We tweaked the volume so that Ben can listen while he's working without having to turn the volume up louder. That's always good. I'm still working on some more video related things, but I think we have been going for quite some time now. I could do that other thing here, but this is supposed to tell me 2 hours and 55 minutes. Whoop, whoop. That is not too shabbaroni, I would say. Yeah. Next steps. What I'm going to do, and I'm not going to force anybody to watch this, is switch over to master. I'll probably commit this change in this branch, switch over to master, cherry pick these couple of commits out to get that functionality, and then use the final version of the file in this branch to modify the commands that we already have. But the modification thing probably won't happen tonight, but cherry picking those things out to put in here in master to push them up is in fact going to happen tonight. And I may or may not push this branch up after I cherry pick those out so that people can see how it looked before I throw it away. Until I fully get everything out of this branch, I'm going to leave it up, but then I'm going to remove it. So if you're interested in the content of this thing, you better clone the repository sometime before I get to it and remove it. And I can't imagine why anybody would want to do that, though, because the changes are going to be in the other thing. But I think we're going to go ahead and call her there. So remember, thanks so much for watching. Remember, you can see videos on my other channel, apparently, because I left something enabled that I did not mean to. That link is also down in the description below. Link, click that to subscribe to my channel, the other one, of which posts videos every Monday. If you want regular tutorials, if you like these longer live streamy type things, you're going to want to subscribe to this video and ring the bell notification icon, because I do live streams of stuff like we saw tonight, different topics for different times all through November. We're, of course, working on this, and we're doing streams twice a week instead of the normal once, but we'll see how things go in the new year. Maybe we can add some extra stream days at some point through there. But that's going to do it for tonight. If you have been watching, thanks for doing so. Remember to show your support by thumbing and liking as appropriate. And until the next live stream or the next video on the other channel, depending on what it is that you're seeing here, this is ODAT Nerd thanking everybody for showing up in the stream chat there tonight. And have A sublime day, week, year, month, day, hour, minute. Live it second by second if you have to. I'm really not cognizant of time zones, you know? Really, really not.